Welcome to my Etsy channel. This is Nancy from nancybadillo.com. And on today's video, I'm going to talk about 15 strategies that you could start implementing today to increase your Etsy sales in 2019. Now, I originally created a list of 50 strategies, and you could go over to my blog at nancybadillo.com. I will also link the blog article underneath this video on the description box where you could click and see all 50. Now, I just picked 15, but they are in no particular order, and I kind of just wanted to kind of go through them to kind of give you some tips and pointers that you could start implementing. Maybe some of these resonate with you, maybe some of these you already doing, or you know you should be doing but you haven't started. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll go over 15 of them on this video for the sake of not keeping you here for a whole 3 hours if I go through all 50. However, make sure that you go over my blog to read the entire list. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to talk about, the first one is charge for changes, right? And what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is always charge for any changes the buyers want. So the biggest mistake a lot of new Etsy sellers or even Etsy sellers that sell and they've been there for a while is that they feel like to make the customer happy and to get the sale, they have to give a discount, or they have to say, I'm not going to charge them, I'll just do that for free. You have to know that your time is valuable no matter what. I get people that tell me, right, because I sell digital prints, they tell me, well, it only takes you 2 seconds to change the font or to change the background color. Just do that for me. I don't see why you have to charge me. And I used to feel guilty asking them for more money. But after a while, I learned my lesson, right? And the lesson I learned is that the issue is, the customer says, can you change the font? Can you change the background for this design? So you say yes. She's like, yeah, it doesn't take me that long. It's not like someone that makes something like hand knitting or something that they have to change the whole thing and start all over again. It does take me within minutes to go in there and change it. So you go in there, you change the color, you send them the new proof, and now they're like, well, how about if you change it to this color? So then you're like, sure, no problem. You go back, you change it to the new color that they want. You do that a couple times. 3 hours in, you're still working on it. And then finally they say, you know what? I changed my mind. I like your original color. It looks way better than what I thought originally I wanted. So that's why I always charge, because it becomes an issue. And I honestly feel like people will waste your time, unnecessary changes. And sometimes that these changes don't even go into effect because they want to change it back to the original color, or they decided that the font that they wanted doesn't look that great on that design, so they're like, oh, you know what, never mind, let's keep it how you had it. So you want to make sure that you value your time. Don't let people dictate what your time is valued by, right? Because if you're taking time, whether it's 5 minutes or an additional 20 minutes to do something else when you could have been spending it with your family, or you could have been spending that time adding a new listing or improving something in your shop, you need to start charging. Now, for me, by selling digital prints, I usually charge them anywhere from $3 to $5 extra, depending on what exactly I'm doing. And you also want to be very specific when you are charging them. You could say, hey, yes, of course, I'll be more than happy to change the font and change the color and keep the same design, but just change those two things, and you will get you will get 3 unlimited proofs. After that, any additional changes is whatever, $2 per change. You have to be very specific, because people will start changes to this, changes to that, and when you least suspect that, you have done like 10 proofs and they don't know what they want. They're all over the place. They're sending you pictures of other shops that they want that, or they want that particular font and you don't have that. So you have to be very, very specific when you say, Yes, I could try to do something similar, or yes, I could do that same color, just send me the screenshot so I could grab the color, etc. But always charge for changes. Don't short yourself short. Don't say, "Oh, I don't have any sales, so let me just take whatever comes." Value your time and charge for changes. So that's my first tip. Tip number 2 is offer a discount coupon. So for me, discounts can be quite expensive. And another mistake as a new Etsy seller that we make is that we offer a discount just so they could buy, right? Like we put everything on sale, but you have zero sales. Like you're running a sale just because you want to get a sale, right? Because you're new and you're not selling and you don't know what to do. So you just mark everything 30% off or 20% off. But when I say offer a discount coupon, what I mean by that is if you come across an unhappy customer. So, for instance, if you offer anyone a discount, you should have a very good reason to do so, right? And don't offer just because you want to get the sale. A discount also doesn't guarantee the sale. So if you say, "Yeah, I could do that for you, I could offer you 20%," and then they never get back to you, right? Like you message them and you never heard back from this potential customer. So keep in mind that a discount doesn't guarantee the sale. What I normally do is I offer discounts on customers that are very unhappy. If by for whatever reason they purchase something from my store, I already completed the order or they purchased it and it was the instant download and now they're saying I didn't know it's an instant download, I don't want this, or whatever the reason is. If I know that I did my job correctly, I provided them the service, I already completed the order or they already downloaded the order, what I would do is to avoid a bad review, which they still leave bad reviews, but just to try to avoid that and just to try to avoid an unhappy customer, I provide them a discount on their next purchase because I'm not planning to give them a discount on the original purchase they paid for. So what I do is I offer them a discount on the next purchase if they end up buying from me. That way they feel like they got something back from me. And a lot of times it has worked in my favor. I had customers that were upset. I offered them a discount and then they come back and buy like 3 more items. Even though it was discounted, it was great. I got more sales. That person left happier. They felt like I actually cared about them. And, I was able to diffuse the situation from someone that was very upset to someone that said, "You know what, they worked with me, they actually helped me, and they didn't ignore my request." So, giving a discount the proper way, don't give a discount just because. Don't do that. That's the biggest mistake you could do as a new Etsy seller or even as an experienced Etsy seller. The next one is mashing items. So you have 10 slots where you could put, different pictures to showcase your product or your service. So add an additional image of your photo in your photos, showcasing matching items that go with that particular item. So for instance, if I sell, which I do, wedding invites, the last picture I will have like a picture of all the designs, the same design of all the different types of things I sell for weddings. So I will have like a sitting chart, I will have a wedding sign, I will have table numbers, I will have name card for the tables, I will have all these different things, thank you cards, and I will put them in that slot as a picture. That way, when they're browsing through my listing and they're looking through all the pictures, they know, oh wow, not only does she sell the invites, she sells everything that goes with the invite. What that does, it actually increases your sales because now this person feels like, one, they're going to get everything in one place. It's going to be more convenient for them than having to go to different shops and then maybe risking that they don't get the same design and same style. And now they're buying all of it from you. So I highly recommend that if you have any type of listings that go with other listings, is the same design, same material, same colors, I recommend putting them together, creating a photo where you put all the matching items and let people know, hey, just to let you know, we have matching items. And then what you want to do is on the listing description, you want to have a link where you include the matching items in there. You could either do it by a SKU number that you add on the title on each listing and add the same SKU number all across, or you could just put the link of each particular item and just put wedding sign and put the link, table numbers, put the link, and so on. That way they could click and kind of view the other items or buy them or add them to their cart. So I highly recommend adding matching items. Your sales will double, especially if you are in the wedding industry like I am or party industry like I am. People will buy stuff in bulks and they will buy multiple stuff because that's what they need. So do that as soon as possible. The next one is product photography, right? I always talk about this on my channel. I'm sure you know about this. It's very, very important that you take the time to improve the quality of your photos. If you feel like your photo is not the best photo, you feel like you need work, you need to work on it. Keep in mind that there's different factors that make a good listing, and one of them is the photos. So SEO is how the person finds you. The listing description builds credibility because the potential buyer gets to know who you are, why they should buy from your shop, what comes included, all the details about that particular listing. But the photo is what originally made the person click on the actual listing. The photo is very, very important because a bad photo will prevent you from making a sale. A great photo will increase the likelihood of that person buying from you. So my tips when it comes to product photography is make sure that the main photo grabs the attention of the shopper and makes them want to click to buy your product. Make sure that it shows your product clearly. Your photo illustrates what you're selling. It communicates importantly information about the size, the color, the measurements, materials. I know I sell wedding labels for wine. So I have actual wine picture, and on the wine picture I have the measurements, so they know that that particular label, wedding label, the size of that wedding label, and what type of bottle it fits. And this is quick information that they could see on the picture, and that way they could make an informed decision whether they want to click and buy my product. Make sure that when you take the photo, it captures both the purpose, right, and the feeling of the product. You want to make sure that the person knows exactly what they're buying, and then also compel them to want to buy it. And make sure that you also take photos in life. And what I mean by that is basically like a lifestyle shot. It's important for the person to visualize how that wedding invite looks like, or how that picture frame looks like in the wall. So it's very important that you have a picture reflecting that. That way the person could visualize it in their own life. So it's very, very important to do different shots of your product. So the one we were just talking about is lifestyle shot, and that helps people imagine what their lives would be if they own your particular service or product. So for instance, if you sell a necklace, you could have a girl or a lady wearing the necklace, and this would showcase the necklace and how it looks on. This is very, very important to do. You could do a studio shot, and a studio shot is basically taking the photo looking good in its natural habitat. And that's a really nice way to showcase the product. Another way that another photo I recommend adding is a scale shot. And a scale shot is basically, it's like your product is showing how big or how small it is. So you'll see some people put like a quarter next to whatever products they're selling, And that's so you can have an idea of how big it is. So it's nice to do that because when you sell on e-commerce, all we have to go is by the photo. We can't grab the actual product and wear it or touch it or feel it or see how it looks, right? So in person. So therefore, doing these different types of shots help us as buyers identify whether we want to buy the product or not. A digital shot is another great way to do it also because it's a close up of that photo and it highlights the product from different angles. And you want to do that as well to showcase it in different angles. If you sell any type of like bowls, or maybe you're selling like earrings and jewelry, like a necklace and the earring set, I would recommend doing like a group shot where you put all the items together and kind of like make it look really nice, obviously, but put them together. And it's just another way to showcase everything together. And then the last two that I want to talk about is packaging shot. And that's just basically how you package your items. Take a picture. If you sell earrings and you put them in a beautiful box, take a picture of you putting them in the box of how they're going to receive their package so they can know that you take pride in sending your products. And the last one is process shot. And what I mean by that is it's just basically you taking a picture of you making the actual product and putting that into the 10 slots. So if you create handmade jewelry, maybe someone could take a picture of you creating handmade jewelry and you put that picture in there. A lot of times people say, well, I don't know how many pictures I could put. They're all starting to look the same. If you do it this way, you have different pictures, right? You have the picture of the product, you have the picture of the product in its environment, you have the picture of the product in a lifestyle shot, which is like in use, right? Like let's say you have it in your necklace. I mean, in your neck, as you know, you have somebody's wearing the actual necklace. You have the picture in a scale shot, which is showing how big or how small. So now you're adding different variations of photos that will sell your product so much better. So I highly, highly recommend taking the time to invest in product photography. If for whatever reason it's too much for you, you can't get, photography, you're not taking the best photos, hire someone to do them for you. It's worth the money. You're going to have to spend money to make money. And there are things that you're going to have to hire someone else to do. I know for me, there's things that I have to hire other people to do because it's almost impossible for me to master every single skill that requires for an Etsy seller to sell on Etsy. So sometimes you do have to render and say, you know what, I'm going to pay someone else to do it because that frees up more time for other stuff that I could be doing, and let the experts do that and I'll be the expert at this. So therefore, I highly, highly recommend hiring someone if you need the help. Number 5 is update your shop. And what I mean by that is updating your about page, is updating your policies, your shipping policies, announcement, anything in your store should be updated quarterly, maybe every 6 months, but hopefully quarterly if possible. You want to make sure that, people don't go to your shop and you say, hey, get 20% on Christmas and it's March, right? You want to make sure that your banner doesn't say, oh, we are on vacation, but you came back from vacation. Or you don't want a shop announcement saying, hey, we're on vacation, we're coming back in August, but it's November and you already came back, your store is open, but you have an announcement saying that you're still in vacation. So therefore, I highly, highly recommend updating it, paying attention to reviews, paying attention to what customers tell you. If you notice that recently you had a problem with a particular order, or you had a problem with your policies, or with a miss or something that a customer misunderstood, or maybe you weren't specific enough about it, make sure that you learn from these experiences, because this is how you're going to improve your shop. And a lot of times is by getting feedback, whether it's good feedback or bad feedback, they both help. So taking that feedback and saying, okay, this person said, that was confusing on how to download and edit this file. So I'm going to add instructions on how they could do that in the, I don't know, in the about me section or in the policy section. Or I'm going to, revise and be very clear and concise with the rules. Just making sure that you do that, not only does it make your store look more professional, it helps build credibility, also makes you look like, you do care about your store because you're constantly working on it and keeping stuff updated. And then on top of that, if in the future, God forbid, someone opened a case against your shop, or they made a complaint on Etsy that you never explained this, or there's nothing written in your shop about the policy, if you have it in place, then Etsy will protect you and you don't have to worry about having any negative strikes against your shop. So there's many reasons why you should do it. The most important one is to be professional and treat your business like a real business. So make sure you update your shop at any given moment and make sure that you have everything up to date. The next one is make new products, right? I know myself personally, I have 101 new products I want to do and ideas, and then I go to Pinterest and I find more ideas, and then I see this, I see that. I'm like, oh my God, when I'm gonna have time to do all this? So make sure that you take the time to say, I can't, be realistic with yourself as well. I can't add 10 listings, per week, but maybe I could do two per week, right? Maybe I could do these two ideas that I've been thinking about. I haven't done it yet. Let me add them, see how, those two work in the store. And if they do really well, maybe I'll do another four, by the end of the month, or I'll start doing two per week. But just, making your products, taking your ideas and actually doing something about it, because that's the only way you're going to grow your shop also. It's just, implementing new things, trying new things. Trial and failure is going to do wonders for you. So make new products. Number 7 is branding. So if you want to take your store to the next level, you want to stand out from the competition, and you really, really want to stand apart, right? Like you want your shop to have a unique style. You want your shop to be cohesive. You want people to see your store, or see, let's say you have a listing you put in Pinterest, and you want someone that if they saw your listing on Pinterest, you want them to say, oh, that's that girl from nancybadillo.com. I know that's her listing, or I know that's her product because that's her signature style. That's what branding is. And it's very, very important. It's not just having a memorable logo, but it's working on everything, the colors. What color schemes are you going to stick with in your Etsy shop? And when you pick those colors, let's say you pick 3 to 4 colors, you got to use those colors all across. Not only on Etsy, you have to do it on your website if you have one. You have to do it on your social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc., YouTube. But you have to do that. This is the way that um, other people identify your business and people recognize you outside of Etsy. That's how they know, oh, that's that girl, that's that guy. That's how they know, is through branding. And if you don't know how to do branding, there's so many articles you could Google, there's so many videos. There's so many examples of other shops that actually do it if you look at the top shops out there to get inspired. But you definitely want to work on branding. If you don't have color schemes and you're not good at it, if you go to creativemarket.com, there's a link below this video. You could go in there and you could actually buy branding colors. They have beautiful packages. If you put branding kit on the search results, you'll come up with a whole bunch of different branding colors, from marble to pink, and or if you want like gold tones, or if you want neutral colors. But there are people out there that will sell you a branding kit, and you will get all these colors, and then they show you an example of how a website looks with those colors. And then that way you kind of visualize and say, oh, I do like that. My store, or my Etsy store and my blog will look really nice, and my Instagram will look really nice with those colors. And then you buy it and you use those colors and you stick with it. And that's how you create branding. But I highly recommend it. Number 8 is attributes. So attributes, when you create a new listing on your Etsy shop, you'll have a section where you could pick attributes. And what I notice a lot when I do Etsy reviews or when I work with my freelancers as a freelancer is that a lot of people don't use attributes. They feel like, I don't really need to add it. Man, you're making a huge mistake by not adding attributes. Attributes basically help you be found more in the search results for Etsy. So basically, an attribute works like a tag. So if you put an attribute and it describes your product, let's say you put an attribute and it says wedding, let's say wedding, whatever. You pick that one. That's an attribute. So whenever you do your tags, you wouldn't put the word wedding because you already used it as the tag. So whatever attributes you pick, they're going to be additional, they're going to be like counted as additional tags. So you have 13 tags, and let's say you pick 2 attributes, that's basically you got 15 tags in total. And attributes, it's going to help you be found, like I said, in the search results, and it's going to give your Etsy shop an SEO boost. So I highly recommend adding attributes. Now, keep in mind, you only want to add attributes if they're relevant to your listing. You don't want to add attributes that are not relevant just to appear in the search results when somebody searches for that particular tag, because then either way, people are not going to buy from you because you're not being relevant and you're not describing your item the way it should be described. So only use it when it's relevant, but use it for sure. The next one is listing titles. So if you've done this already, you're already an Etsy seller, or you're planning to start an Etsy shop, I recommend, especially for old accounts, going back and fixing your listing titles. Etsy made a change in October that they made changes like with the title, how they want you to write the title. So you want to make sure that you stay up, you do best practices. You want to make sure that you add your main keyword in the beginning of your title because it does hold the most weight for SEO, and that's an SEO best practice. That stay the same. So you want to make sure the main keyword is in the beginning, and you also want to write a short title that will compel people to click. So you want to meet both standards. You want to meet the standard of SEO, which is placing your keyword, but you also want to meet the standard of creating a title that's user friendly for the buyer. You want to make sure that this person, whoever's buying from you, understands what they're buying. There's no confusion. There's no keyword stuffing like how it was the old way. So that way people know exactly what they're buying. They're not confused, and they're not reading a title with 10 tags and they're confused on why it looks that way. It just looks like stuffing keywords. It doesn't look pleasant. It doesn't look nice. So just make sure that you keep those two things in perspective when writing your listing titles. Number 10 is grow your email list. So I don't know. This is so important. I mean, I can't tell you how important it is. If you have not started your email list, then you need to start doing it for 2019. It's so important to create the email list, like I just said. You probably heard that, the saying that says the money is in the list. Well, I'm here to tell you it's true. It's cheaper to retain and acquire new. It's cheaper to retain a customer than acquire a new one. And for me, the way that I increase my emails is by offering an incentive. So I always offer, like if it's their first time purchasing in my shop, I offer them 10% discount in order for me to receive an email. Now, does it work all the time? No, people catch up with the whole, emails, and people don't, a lot of people don't want to do it, but there are a lot of people out there that do want to do it. And when you do it this way, it's the best way because they're getting something and in return you're getting something. And if you don't have a blog, a lot of people are like, well, I don't have a blog. Why? How would I collect emails? I did a video on this. It's on my Etsy channel, and I did a video on how to create an email list without a blog for Etsy. And there's a company, I have the link below. It's called MailerLite, and they offer a free newsletter plan. So you could sign up for free. You don't pay anything if you have less than 1,000 subscribers. So if you are just starting your email list and you don't have anyone in your email list, you could sign up for their program. It's free. You're not paying anything. And as long as you're under 1,000 subscribers, you will never pay for anything. Once you reach that 1,000 subscribers, they will give you the option to upgrade, and then you can pick from the plans that they offer at that given moment. But under 1,000 is free. And the best part is that if you don't have a blog, you could still do it. So don't wait until next year. Don't say, oh, I'll just wait, or I only have like 3 subscribers. It doesn't matter. Start now. Start collecting. Start nurturing that list. Start emailing them whenever you add new products to your store. Start emailing them whenever you have an idea, or maybe a survey that you want to ask them, or maybe you want to say, hey, Happy New Year's. Make sure you nurture that list. Number 11 is Google Analytics. I don't know if you have set up your Google Analytics for your Etsy shop. A lot of people don't even know that they could do this. It's a free service, and I highly, highly recommend it. The tool is free, and it helps you like see like volume of your traffic to your website or to your Etsy shop from traffic sources. So it's going to tell you where exactly the traffic is coming from, and then it gives you more information than just that. It's going to show you when your customers are in your shop visiting, like when is the busiest time for you. It's going to show you your demographics. It's going to show you so much information that you'll be able to use that information to target your ideal customer. And at the end of the day, if you don't know who is your target audience and you're not targeting the right people, you will never reach, to that point that you're making 6 figures a year or more, because you're just showing your products to anybody and everyone when you have to show it to a specific type of people that will be interested. Another cool thing about Google Analytics that I currently use is they give you, like I mentioned a few seconds ago, they give you the busiest times of your shop. So they tell you from this time and this time and these days, these are your busiest times. So what I normally do is I'll create listings, I'll save them as a draft, and then if it says Tuesdays at 2 is my busiest, what I do is I upload new products on Tuesdays at 2. Then my members that already favor my shop, right, and people that are currently visiting at 2 o'clock will all get that notification or see the new products. This is another kind of like tricky way that you could trick people in buying from you and increasing your sales. But if you don't have Google Analytics set up, you're not going to know this information. So I highly recommend doing it. It's free, it's easy to set up, and I actually also have a video of that. So make sure that you go through my Etsy tutorials and you'll find them in there. The next one will be, it's kind of similar, is review your stats. Sorry about that. Rework the SEO on your lowest ranking listings. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is going back to your stats on Etsy and going through the ones that barely get any traction, right? The ones that no one clicks on, there's 0 impressions, no one have bought that listing for months, right? It's been like 6 months since you sold any of those listings. You need to go back to those listings and you need to redo your SEO. What you have to keep in mind is that what happened one year, let's say one year you were doing really well, you were making a lot of money, you were selling. In that 1 year span, so many new competition came in doing similar items like yourself. And what happens is if you don't continue adding new items and keeping your store fresh and renewing all the time, it becomes like stale. And the new shop that's adding new products like you were in the beginning, they get a little bit higher in the rankings, while your store kind of gets left behind. So what you want to do is you want to be all the time renewing items. You want to be all the time adding new items, but at the same time, you also want to be all the time changing your SEO, because maybe one year you were like wedding invites, you were competing for that keyword and there wasn't that many competition, but maybe in that year 17,000 other stores open and they're all using wedding invites now. So therefore your listing is getting drowned. No one's finding you because it's oversaturated keyword. Maybe in 2015 it wasn't an oversaturated keyword. 3 years later, now everybody in the mama is doing the same thing you're doing, or there's a lot of competition. So therefore, that's when you have to redo your SEO. And SEO is something that you have to redo constantly, unfortunately. The only time that you might not have to do SEO as much is that if you are in a very unique niche that no one else makes but you, or a very unique niche that you don't have that much competition and it's not growing every year in competition, then you might not have to change your keywords, because it's not like, every year 17,000 or 1 million other shops are selling similar items, so now you're competing with those people. But if you are in an oversaturated niche like myself, like wedding or parties or jewelry, this is a constant struggle. Is always finding new keywords that you could rank for, because the old keywords that you used to rank for the year before or 2 years ago, you no longer rank for. So you want to make sure that you go back and rework your SEO. This is definitely going to help you increase your views, increase your impressions, and the most important, increase your sales. Number 13, get a website. I recommend doing it in 2019. The main reason why I recommend doing a website is because Etsy is not guaranteed for anyone. Etsy, that's their platform. You don't own Etsy. So if at any given moment they decide to close your store down, right? You did all this work and you don't have no one to market because maybe you never did your email list that we talked about earlier. And now you don't even have a store where you could continue selling in case this happen. So what I recommend is creating a website for two reasons. One, in case your Etsy shop gets closed down. And two, you could use that website to leverage more traffic to your Etsy shop. You could create blog articles with keywords to rank for and then drive that traffic to your Etsy shop. There's so many things you could do. Plus additional, you could sell on your website without having to pay any additional fees. You could set up an e-commerce store. A lot of people do that, and they could buy directly from your website. And if they don't feel comfortable, you could tell them, go to my Etsy shop as well. But I highly recommend doing it. It's fairly cheap nowadays to do one. And it's another great way to have everything backed up in case your store gets shut down. Because it has happened to people that I know. Number 14. Create a robust line, right? So what do I mean by that? If you start noticing that one particular item in your store does really, really well, so you sell a lot of items on that particular listing, what I recommend is creating a robust line around that particular item. So if you have a wedding invite and it's burgundy with white, it sells a lot. A lot of people love that flower sequence. And then you have also a sign and you sell both of them together. What I would do is make a whole product line around those products. So I would create a table numbers. I would do thank you cards with the same design. I would do sitting charts. I would do bridal shower invites. I mean, I would just do everything that goes with that and then showcase it to people and say, hey, just to let you know, not only do I sell wedding invites and a sign, I have this, and this that goes with that particular setting, or particular set, or particular design. This is how you make more money and you increase in sales, and it's almost like a guarantee sale because you already tested out the design. It's doing really, really great. That means that people are responding to it and they're loving it. So why not make a robust line around that particular product and get more sales and make more money? Now, the next one I want to talk about is signing up for QuickBooks. You don't necessarily have to sign up for QuickBooks, but I have a link below that you can sign up and you get a 6 months discount. I recommend doing your taxes on time. I learning about taxes. I recommend talking to your local CPA to know about any states taxes you might have to pay, to learn about regulations, to learn about when your taxes are due. I did a short video. Now, I do want to make it clear, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax expert. I just give my pointers of what I've done. But you could go online and sign up to make payments online through QuickBooks. And it's a really, really nice feature because your taxes are due quarterly and you are responsible for paying for them. And they're usually called estimated payments that you will make. And you make them quarterly. And this way, what I normally do is that I like to get paid once a month on Etsy. And then once I get paid that bulk of money, I take a percentage, I go pay my taxes, and then whatever I have left, that's my money. A lot of times people get paid weekly or daily and they spend all the money, or they spend it buying products, or or supplies to make new products, but they never pay the taxes, and then they get charged with penalties, and then they owe more money at the end of the year, or they don't get no refund because they're busy paying money that they owe. So I highly recommend that you start learning about taxes. I know it's not a sexy topic to talk about, but I do like QuickBooks. They make it very simple to use. It's very explanatory. They have great customer service and great chat systems. So I highly recommend them, but you don't necessarily have to go through them. There's so many tools out there. And you can also talk to your local CPA to see what tools or what softwares they recommend for you doing your taxes. So keep in mind QuickBooks, but there's so many out there. But these are my tips. One extra tip I want to talk about, which I do include in the 50 strategies, is reviewing your stats. I was kind of talking about that earlier, and I guess I didn't add it in the list. And what I meant to say by that, and I jumped into um, Google Analytics and other stuff, is that it's important when you have an Etsy shop to review your stats on a regular basis. The more you understand about your Etsy shop, the more successful you will become. If you don't know who your target audience is, what are your top products, what are the listings that are in the bottom, you will never grow your store to the success that you want. This is because you don't understand your numbers. You're not measuring your success. You're not looking at top performing indicators. This is so crucial. I talk to so many people and I always test them out, and I always ask them, what is your lowest? Because they say, I've done everything. I don't know what else to do. I don't make sales, blah, 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 blah. So then I ask them all the time the same question. What are your top 3 products and what are your bottom 3 products? 99% of the time, they don't know. That's because they're not reviewing your shops on a consistent basis. It's very important that you review it on a consistent basis. You measure the growth. You understand what are conversions. You understand your impressions. You understand your views and visits, your traffic sources, how many people search for items, how many people liked your store. I even write stuff like that down. I see how many people from month to month, how many people like my store, what products are they liking the most, What can I do to make more products like that so I can increase my sales? How many pages people view? How much time are they spending on my website? Are they bouncing quickly? Are there, is there a particular page that they stay longer? These are all things that you will know through Google Analytics and also through the stats that Etsy provides you. Um, you even get, I don't know if you knew this, but on Etsy you even get a custom section, a customer section, and this gives you a sense of where your customer is coming from. So it kind of gives you a snapshot of like their demographics, female or male, and then it also shows you other things that they like. And these are important things to measure because the more you know who's coming to your shop, the more it will help you identify your target audience. So I did want to throw that one in there as number 16. I think it's very, very important that you measure your stats. Um, I do mine monthly, but if for some reason that's too often for you, I would do quarterly. And if you don't have the time to do that, I will hire someone to do it for you because it is very, very important. Guys, I hope that these tips will help you look at your store a little bit different and help you say, I never thought about doing, X, Y, and Z. And I should start doing that more often because I don't do that. And, I should start learning about this particular thing because I don't know who my target audience is, or I don't know how to take the best photos. So let me look for someone out there to help me. Whatever it is, I hope that this video helped you. Make sure that you leave a comment below of any questions or any tips you want to give about this video or any suggestions, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel. If you guys find this video valuable, please share it on your Facebook channel or any social media platform to bring awareness to other people of things that they could do to improve their shop and also increase their sales. And make sure you head over to my blog where you could see all 50 strategies of things that you could do today or daily to improve the quality of your shop and therefore help you increase your sales. So thank you guys for watching and have yourself a wonderful day.